නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස I pay homage to that fortunate one, worthy one, perfectly self-enlightened one. May my homage be offered. Devotees endowed with faith and wisdom, who are listening to the Dhamma through the Sogatarana Dham Sangraha YouTube channel. You are preparing today to join us with yet another Dhamma sermon. Everyone is preparing today to connect with the 10th sermon conducted by us. So, devotees, by now we have preached to you through 9 programs regarding the way of practicing and training many Dhamma matters in daily life. We started this sermon series by introducing it, and after that we mentioned to you the arrangement of this sermon series. We have arranged this sermon series for the purpose of seeing the 4 noble truths within this life, within this Buddha Sasana. It is based on the matters of how we should be disciplined in order within this Dhamma. Then our goal is the seeing of these 4 noble truths. So, there we mentioned that if one is to see the 4 noble truths, one must come to the Noble Eightfold Path. Therefore, we must travel toward this Noble Eightfold Path systematically. How to practice this Dhamma in our lives systematically until the point of reaching that Noble Eightfold Path. How to train. This is what is presented to you to the best of our strength. At this point, we mentioned to you that conditioned by past merit, one meets good spiritual friends, Kalyana Mitra. We mentioned that after meeting good spiritual friends, conditioned by past merit, one gets to hear the true Dhamma from those good spiritual friends. Conditioned by hearing that true Dhamma, we mentioned to you that one can identify the wholesomeness and the unwholesomeness. Conditioned by identifying the wholesomeness and the unwholesomeness, we mentioned that one can identify the wholesome roots and the unwholesome roots. We concluded that last program by mentioning to you that conditioned by identifying wholesome roots and unwholesome roots, the act of identifying unwholesome signs and wholesome signs takes place. In the second sermon conducted regarding identifying wholesome roots and unwholesome roots, we mentioned the identifying of bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions performed based on those wholesome roots and unwholesome roots. Then up to the point of identifying these bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions, namely unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions and wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions. We have finished preaching the Dhamma to these devotees in order by now. Today we are preparing to start the sermon related to the topic of identifying wholesome signs and unwholesome signs. So, devotees, this sermon at the point of identifying unwholesome signs and wholesome signs is not a place where we can move forward very rapidly like previous sermons. Here we expect to preach to you regarding the restraint of the sense faculties, Indriya Samvara. Likewise, we expect to teach you here how to practice and train 8, 9 or a close number of the 10 recollection meditations. Therefore, in this way, we expect to conduct about 10 or 12 sermons forward by explaining this topic in detail. Because of that, I remind you here that while listening to this Dhamma by giving it extreme value and importance, you should act and think to practice and train this Dhamma systematically. Now, in this journey, you have come through this Dhamma listening. We said from the very beginning, didn't we, to identify that you have past merit. We told you to reflect on that, didn't we? Likewise, we reminded you of the factors of necessary to identify that past merit exists. Have those been received? They have been received. We told you to think, ponder and reflect on that. Likewise, one must listen to the Dhamma. In this Dhamma, the beginning, the middle and the end have been well preached. You should listen to that Dhamma well in its beginning, middle and end. And we mentioned that you should practice and train that Dhamma. You hear as the beginning, the middle and the end. After that, we mentioned to you who is a good spiritual friend. How to identify a good spiritual friend? Why should a good spiritual friend be identified? Then, having identified those matters and by finding those good spiritual friends, we mentioned that the journey toward the Noble Eightfold Path happens very quickly within a short time. Likewise, we mentioned to you that by identifying that good spiritual friend and listening to the Dhamma from the good spiritual friend, one becomes able to identify the unwholesomeness and the wholesomeness. So, in this way, regarding the life of someone who has realized the Dhamma within this Buddha Sasana, regarding the life of someone who is realizing the Dhamma, and likewise within this fourfold assembly of monks, nuns, devoted men and devout women who have gone to the refuge of the triple gem, saying Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Devotees, we must identify in our lives the nature of identifying the Dhamma and behaving and acting in accordance with the Dhamma. Then we will have gained that we should get what we must obtain from this Buddha Sasana. The Nibbana, peace, liberation and happiness, all of this we receive within this Buddha Sasana after we start to listen to this Dhamma in order, investigate with wisdom and think, ponder, act and implement accordingly. Therefore, when thinking and pondering like this, you will feel a great ease and lightness in your life, as well as a good understanding of yourself. Likewise, you will be able to identify and see that many of your very large changes, as well as many flaws, have been corrected and are being corrected. Also, you see that there are wrong flaws within yourself. you see that wrong flows are being corrected, you will begin to understand how you should act in the future by further fixing and correcting these wrong flows. So, that is living by making the Dhamma a mirror. Within this Dhamma, you should apply that is simile, that then think, ponder and act upon it. Therefore, devotees also, when listening to this Dhamma, you will realize that you have the ability, the skill to identify these Dhamma natures. Look, what we said at the beginning, you have gathered and prepared the ability to realize Nibbana, the skill to realize Nibbana, conditioned by past merit, but you must bring out and develop that skill by listening to the Dhamma in this way and by identifying these Dhamma natures one by one. We do not know that we can draw pictures. Therefore, we are not yet a person who draws pictures. We haven't even thought about starting it because we think we don't have that ability. Therefore, there isn't even an effort to learn it. We don't even incline the mind. We don't know that such an ability exists. But while doodling on a piece of paper with a pencil during a free moment, we identify, I can draw, can't I? After that, devotees, we start to search for it. We start to talk about it. We start to practice and train more and more. After some days pass, one becomes an artist that the world talks about. After we start doing that thing, that ability, just like the sun appearing in the sky and coming to illuminate the whole world, comes out from within us and becomes one who holds a lamp in hand, spreading light to the whole world. In the same way, when hearing this Dhamma and making an effort to see this Dhamma within oneself, then to what level have the sense faculties necessary to spiritual faculties necessary to see that Dhamma grown within you? To what extent can those skills be further developed? Is it possible? One sees those matters as well as the fact that Nibbana can be realized within this life, beginning to be realized within oneself. Also, how much further is it to reach that place of realizing Nibbana, the Noble Eightfold Path? Who are the obstacles? What are the obstacles and troubles to reach that path? One sees this within oneself. Also, one understands the way to remove the troubles and obstacles that make it impossible to arrive that path. One understands the time required for that. The mindfulness and wisdom arise within oneself. Devotees, that to hasten that time, there is only the further practicing and training of this Dhamma in this manner. So, devotees, such a nature should now have been prepared within you, who have become Buddhist along with the Dhamma. Therefore, such a determination, such an effort and such an investigation should be prepared within you. Also, you should have mindfulness and wisdom within you. I must change. When these flaws and errors of mine are pointed out within the Dhamma, yes, they exist, they must be identified. Having identified them, I must change. That mindfulness and wisdom should be within you by now. Then look, even as we identify the unwholesome and the wholesome based on that association with good spiritual friends, devotees, I taught you how to identify the unwholesome and how to identify the wholesomeness. Even as you identify the unwholesomeness within you, the mindfulness, wisdom, necessity, desire and determination arise within you that this unwholesomeness must be ended, this unwholesomeness must be discarded. Likewise, at the very point of identifying the wholesomeness, there arise within you the desire, determination, effort and investigation that this wholesomeness must be maintained again and again within this mind stream. Therefore, devotees, through identifying these, what arises within you is not the desire to move away from the Dhamma again and again, but the need and desire that I must dwell within this Dhamma. Devotees, the reason for that is that this Dhamma is wonderfully, peaceful and sublime. Dwelling within the Dhamma is peaceful and sublime. It is endowed with happiness. Devotees, therefore, for as long as we do not identify it, we do not expect to hear, investigate, think, ponder, behave and dwell in accordance with this Dhamma, that wisdom does not arise. So now we mentioned in previous sermons how to identify the wholesomeness and how to identify the unwholesomeness. Then if you identify the unwholesomeness in that way and identify the unwholesomeness, you become someone who constantly inclines the mind to identify the wholesomeness and identify the unwholesomeness in that way. I must identify this wholesomeness, I must identify this unwholesomeness. Because you incline the mind to identify the wholesomeness and the unwholesomeness in that way, through the Upanayika quality of this Dhamma, as we mentioned before, the next and next Dhamma natures begin to understand. Even as you identify the unwholesomeness in that way, you get to see the unwholesome roots. Even as you identify the wholesomeness in that way, you get to see the wholesome roots. Look, until this time you had come to the point of identifying the wholesomeness and the unwholesomeness. But even having identified the wholesomeness and unwholesomeness, there was no ability to see those wholesome roots and unwholesome roots next. Now, having identified that wholesomeness and unwholesomeness based on the inclining of the mind to see that wholesomeness and unwholesomeness again and again with the mindfulness that was born with the stillness and with the wisdom of the mind, by taking a step forward from there, the proficiency, ability and skill to identify those wholesome roots and unwholesome roots arises within you. Now look, step by step, day by day, moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, devotees, week by week, month by month, year by year, that skill, that arose within you is developing, and you become one who travels forward and forward, dwelling within this Dhamma. So, devotees, at the point where that wholesomeness and unwholesomeness were identified, that unwholesomeness which oppressed us and existed for suffering is discarded from our mind stream. Then, devotees, next, through your identifying of those unwholesome roots and wholesome roots, the unwholesome roots that were an oppression to us for so long begin to be discarded from our mind stream. Likewise, through your identifying of unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions, those unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions settle down. Likewise, through the identifying of wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions, you gain the ability to maintain those wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions continuously. So then, in a wonderfully way, within this Dhamma, your mind is tamed, the body is tamed, speech is tamed, otherwise the mind is restrained, the body is restrained, speech is restrained. Little by little, like a lamp, like a flower, life becomes illuminated, it becomes beautiful. Now you become able to see that fact within yourself, a person who has settled down, a person who has cooled down, a person who is peaceful. That is how people in society see you. Before the people in society, you see that nature, yourself, within my own mind, there is a certain peacefulness in his speech, a certain peacefulness, and likewise in bodily actions, a certain peacefulness. Because on that existing peacefulness, a pleasant feeling endowed with renunciation begins to arise in your mind and body. Also, devotees, that previous lack of peace is removed, and the oppression that was within it begins to be discarded from you physically and mentally. Therefore, those who hear this Dhamma are persons who live within a very ease, comfortable dwelling. Many sufferings and difficulties, troubles and obstacles arrive in their lives. Even though they arrive, such a person is not shaken within them. They do not grieve. There is no fear or trembling regarding the troubles and obstacles that are yet to arrive. Why? Now within him the mindfulness, concentration and wisdom of the mind have well developed. There is mindfulness, there is wisdom. By using that mindfulness and wisdom and ability and skill to overcome the troubles and obstacles that have arrived, and the troubles and obstacles yet to arrive is built through this Dhamma. Otherwise, devotees, when a problem came, we only collapsed, cried, lamented and grieved every day of our lives. The mindfulness, wisdom and effort necessary to overcome them did not arise within us. We did not understand how to choose strategies. Likewise, through our acting without identifying wholesomeness and unwholesome like this, the problems in our lives only increase more and more. The problems do not decrease. Because of the very lack of hearing the Dhamma and practicing the Dhamma like this, one is not someone who solves problems day by day, but someone who collects problems. Therefore, devotees, if you are practicing this Dhamma in this very way, by now, if you identified the unwholesomeness, if you identify the unwholesome roots, if you identified unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions, the mindfulness and wisdom necessary not to maintain them but to remove them has arisen within you by now through that very identifying. Likewise, if you identified the wholesomeness, if you identified the wholesome roots, if you identified wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions, the ability, mindfulness and wisdom to maintain them has arisen within you. Therefore, devotees, now look the mental nature of a person who is going to realize Nibbana, the physical nature of a person who is going to realize Nibbana, the nature of the words of a person who is going to realize Nibbana. This is how it is described. Devotees, those natures are what have started to arise within you in this way. Therefore, those coarser and coarser unwholesome natures are removed, and a life, a physical and mental nature and state that should bring in a very sublime, subtle, wholesome natures begin to grow in this way. Therefore, devotees, it is such a group of people that we expect to see from the devotees who listen to this Dhamma. It is not for anything else. The Lord Buddha preached to us a way to live happily, easily, joyfully and peacefully within this Dhamma. The Lord Buddha showed it to us. The Lord Buddha taught us for 45 years to live in this way. So, if someone lives by turning their back to the Dhamma without practicing this Dhamma in this way, we see that he is a loser in this world and a loser in the next world. Therefore, we do not like to see someone who has lost this world and has fallen into suffering, oppression and weariness. Devotees, we like to see someone who is happy in this world, who is not oppressed, who has won, who has succeeded, someone who wins the next world, someone who succeeded in the next world. Therefore, the Lord Buddha preached this Dhamma truly for us to win this world and win the next world. So, when practicing and training that Dhamma in that way, day by day, we find you winning. We do not find you losing. We see that you will definitely win the next world as well. So, when practicing and training this Dhamma, the confidence arises within oneself, from within oneself. Then, therefore, devotees, today's topic we have to talk about is identifying these unwholesome signs and wholesome signs. Then you have now identified the unwholesomeness, and I told you to label that this is unwholesomeness. I told you to label and direct the mind. Likewise, I told you to establish mindfulness. After that, having identified the unwholesome roots, I told you to identify that this is greed, this is hatred, this is delusion as unwholesome roots, and to direct the mind and establish mindfulness. Likewise, having identified and at the moment of establishing mindfulness, I told you to identify the bodily actions that takes place with this unwholesomeness as its roots. This is an unwholesome bodily action. I told you to identify it, direct the mind and establish mindfulness. Likewise, I told you to identify unwholesome verbal actions as unwholesome verbal actions and establish mindfulness. Likewise, I told you to label on unwholesome mental actions as unwholesome mental actions and establish mindfulness. Devotees, even as you label in that way as you establish mindfulness while labeling on the unwholesomeness, you can see the unwholesomeness gradually settling down. Devotees, this is a mindfulness and wisdom that has now arisen within you. You can see the way this unwholesomeness settles down. Not only that, you can also see the way the unwholesomeness grows through acting without directing the mind and establishing mindfulness toward the unwholesomeness. In this way, by now you are able to identify within yourself the way the unwholesomeness settles down and the way the unwholesomeness grows in that way. Likewise, as you act further, you will be able to identify the way the greed, hatred and delusion that arose in your mind settles down. You will also gain the ability to identify the way greed, hatred and delusion grow. It is the same way, devotees, for as long as you do not identify them, unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions will only be practiced day by day in your life. They will not be removed. Likewise, as you identify them more and more, you can identify how unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions gradually settle down. Then just like that, the way a fire spreads and the way a fire is extinguished, it will be seen by you. By now, these devotees are able to see and identify the way this unwholesomeness, the unwholesome roots and unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions grow and settle down. So then devotees, in that way, as this unwholesomeness, the unwholesome roots and unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions settle down, next you become able to identify within your mind stream the unwholesome sign, which was the condition for this unwholesomeness, the condition for the unwholesome roots and the condition for the unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions. That unwholesome sign existing within your mind could be a certain perception of a person, a sign of a person. Otherwise, it could be a sign, a perception regarding some other external thing. When saying it is a perception of a being or a person, a sign of a person, that unwholesome sign is when we think or contemplate with the mind associated with greed, hatred and delusion regarding people such as one's neighbors, brothers and sisters, teachers, relatives and friends. The perception of that person which becomes the basis for that is the unwholesome sign there. Even regarding animals, when thinking or contemplating in this way with the mind of greed, hatred and delusion, the perception of that being which is the root for that is the unwholesome sign there. Regarding things like weapons, cigarettes and drugs, when we think or contemplate with the mind associated with greed, hatred and delusion, the perception of the person or object which is the basis for this is the unwholesome sign there. Identify these signs, devotees, is identify unwholesome signs. So we do not intend to give a lot of details about this here. However, this is the special topic we are talking about, because without you well identifying perceptions of person and such unwholesome perceptions in this way and understanding them as unwholesome signs and abandoning them, it is difficult to move forward. Devotees, then regarding that next this relevant unwholesome sign begins to become manifest. Now then, when your mindfulness is established by identifying those unwholesome roots and unwholesome bodily actions and so on, as those things gradually subside, now this unwholesome sign begins to perceive clearly. Devotees, the unwholesome sign that was the root for that unwholesome act, that was the conditions for that unwholesome act, that was the root for the unwholesome root, that was the condition for the unwholesome root, that was the root and condition for the unwholesome bodily action, verbal action and mental action. Behold, now at this moment you must identify this unwholesome sign as an unwholesome sign. Direct your mind to that relevant unwholesome sign and establish mindfulness. You must abandon it while labeling on this unwholesome sign as an unwholesome sign. Then next, let us talk about identifying wholesome signs. I told you to identify the wholesome and label this is wholesomeness. I told you to label and direct the mind. Also, I told you to establish mindfulness. After that, I told you to identify the wholesome roots, and as those wholesome roots are wholesome roots, to identify this is non-greed, this is non-hatred, this is non-delusion, and direct the mind and establish mindfulness. Also, while identifying and establishing mindfulness in that way, I told you to identify the bodily actions that happens rooted in this wholesomeness, as this is a wholesome bodily action. I told you to identify and direct the mind and establish mindfulness. Also, I told you to identify wholesome verbal actions as wholesome verbal actions and establish mindfulness. Also, I told you to label on wholesome mental actions as wholesome mental actions and establish mindfulness. Devotees, when labeling like that, as mindfulness is established while labeling on the wholesomeness, you can see the wholesomeness gradually growing and persisting. Devotees, this is a mindfulness, a wisdom that has now arisen within you. You can see the manner in which this wholesomeness grows and persists. Not only that, you can also see the manner in which the unwholesomeness grows through acting without directing the mind to the wholesomeness and establish mindfulness. In this way, by this time, you yourself are able to identify within you the manner in which the unwholesomeness subsides and the manner in which the wholesomeness grows in that way. Also, as you continue to act in this way further, you will be able to identify the manner in which the non-greed, non-hatred and non-delusion that arose in your mind grow and persist. You will get the ability to identify the manner in which non-greed, non-hatred and non-delusion grow again and again continuously. It is the same way, devotees, for as long as you do not identify like that, there is no way for wholesome bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions to be practiced day by day in your life. They will not be practiced. Also, as you identify them more and more, wholesome bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions further become restrained little by little. They become pure, they become correct. It makes one feel like watching with joy, a great lightness, a solace, a comfort is felt. Then you can identify in that manner. then like the way a fire spreads and the way a fire is extinguished, you will get to see it. These devotees are able to see and identify by this time the manner in which this wholesomeness, the wholesome roots and the wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions grow and persist. So then in that way, when this wholesomeness, wholesome roots and wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions grow and persist, devotees, next you will be able to identify within your mind stream the wholesome sign which was the condition for this wholesomeness, the condition for the wholesome roots and the condition for the wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions. That wholesome sign would be a certain perception of a person, a sign of a person existing within your mind. Otherwise, it could be a sign, a perception regarding some other external thing. When saying it is a perception of a being or a person, a sign of a person, the wholesome sign is the Buddha perception called the fortunate Lord Buddha, the perception of oneself. Those who practice loving kindness meditation know this. Also regarding people such as mother, father, brother, sister, teacher, relative and friends, when we think and contemplate with a mind associated with non-greed, non-hatred and non-delusion, the perception of the person which is the basis for that is the wholesome sign there. Even regarding animals, when thinking or contemplating in this way with a mind of non-greed, non-hatred and non-delusion, the perception of being which is the root for that is the wholesome sign there. Also, if explaining further in this way, Bodhi tree, Bodhi terrace and when offering things like oil, flowers, lamps, robes, requisites, food and drink and medicine, when thinking and contemplating with a mind of non-greed and non-hatred and non-delusion, along with those signs and features, all those signs and features, there are the wholesome sign. These where we meditate on the four foundation of mindfulness, change as the perception of mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati sanya, the perception of fullness, asubha sanya, the perception of the skeleton, attika sanya, the perception of earth, patavi sanya, and so on. As meditation grows further, they are identified as the perception of impermanence, anicca sanya, as so on. In the Girimananda Sutta, the 10 perceptions are described deeply and at length. This devotees is the identification of wholesome signs. So we do not intend to give a lot of details about this here. However, this is the special topic we are talking about, because without you well identifying perceptions of persons in this way here and practicing them as wholesome signs, it is difficult to move forward. Devotees, then this is in this way regarding this next, this relevant wholesome sign begin to become manifest. Now then, when your mindfulness is established by identifying those wholesome roots and wholesome bodily actions and so on, now this wholesome sign begin to be perceived clearly. Devotees, the wholesome sign that was the root for the next, root for that wholesomeness, that was the condition for that wholesomeness, that was the root for the wholesome root, that was the condition for the wholesome root. that was the root and condition for the wholesome bodily action, verbal action and mental action. Behold, now at this moment, you must identify this wholesome sign as a wholesome sign. Direct your mind to that relevant wholesome sign and establish mindfulness. You must maintain it while labeling on this wholesome sign as a wholesome sign and establishing mindfulness. Now next, devotees, you identified the wholesomeness, you identified the wholesome roots. Also act by identifying those wholesome bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions. Within that, to the mindfulness and wisdom that grows, you can identify the wholesome sign that is the root for it in that manner. Seeing that wholesome sign as a wholesome sign, you direct the mind to that wholesome sign and establish mindfulness, labeling on that wholesome sign. Then you see in that manner that relevant wholesome sign as an wholesome sign and the wholesome sign as a wholesome sign. Now then, devotees, you realize that within your mind stream in your life up to now, what you have collected are things that should be removed. Now if you close your eyes and look at your mind, wondering, what are these signs and features in my mind? Almost all of them, devotees, the signs and features in the mind of the majority of people are associated with the unwholesomeness. They are beautiful signs, Subha Nimitta. With those beautiful signs, it is greed that grows. Also there are many perceptions of irritation, Patika Sanya. With those perceptions of irritation, it is hatred that grows. So in this way we see, now look in our lives, if we can exclude this mentioned unwholesome sign from the mind, if we can identify the unwholesome sign, from that point forward there is no way for this unwholesome anger to go on for unwholesome bodily action to persist, devotees. So because of that, our mind are filled with unwholesome sign like this. As it is mentioned in the Dhamma, devotees, at the moment of death there are three karma, karma nimitta and gati nimitta, and it is said that one of them becomes the object of our mind. Now at that moment, what we call these karma nimitta are those perceptions created, gathered and collected in the mind. Now look, devotees, in the life we spend from morning until night, if we die at some moment, what will happen to us? Where will we go and be born? How many times a day in our mind do we remember the fortunate Lord Buddha? Do we remember mother and father with compassion and loving kindness? Devotees, those who live in our own home could be mother, father and sibling. Even with these people we have clashed and have ill will and anger. Then all those perceptions and are also associated with the unwholesomeness, associated with irritation. Devotees, even if you take the country like this, or take the world, or think and contemplate in various fields, look there, it is anger that is born for us. In all those places, what has been gathered are some perception of irritation. What existing in our mind are some clashing perceptions, some perceptions rooted in clashing. So when directing the mind again and again to those very perceptions rooted in that clashing, that very perception of irritation becomes powerful and begins to grow in our mind. Now, in this something that should be developed is the perception of irritation is ill will, something that should be developed, but without knowing what we have developed in our mind are these perception of irritation. What we have developed is hatred. So friend, so because of that, devotees, we should not keep these things in the mind. Why keep them? These few perceptions of irritations, these perception of unwholesomeness, so they are which should be removed. But then these are what have been collected. Perception that should be removed have been collected. In the way which have been collected are unwholesome. It is unwholesomeness that have been collected. The fortunate Lord Buddha does not mention in Dhamma to collect unwholesomeness. Does he? Now we have heard plenty that unwholesomeness, unwholesome collect, one collects unwholesomeness, and so on. Now you yourself can look at your mind's side and understand, do I have unwholesomeness in my mind? Is it unwholesomeness that has collected in my mind? Are there unwholesome roots in my own mind? Behold, when seeing like that, is if there are unwholesome roots, the relevant mindfulness, wisdom and labeling to obtain abundant, those unwholesome roots must be performed in this way within the Dhamma, devotees. So because of that, we will teach in the future about sense restraint and so on. How do these signs of features come into the mind? How to avoid these? How should we act in these places? So because of that, if we are not careful within this Dhamma, devotees, every moment we reflect with every intention that is born in our mind, what we think, contemplate and reflect on are things that burn, scorch and distress the mind stream, and also things through which we get angry, and things through which greed, hatred and delusion grow in our mind. So because of that, identifying these, one must mark the unwholesome signs in this way. Also devotees, from the point forward, wholesome signs, these wholesome signs, now I told you how many times a day do you remember a given alms offering? Do you remember precepts you protected? How many wholesomeness, compassionate and loving kindness associated perceptions are there in your mind? These things are not in the mind in abundance, then there is no way for the mind to incline toward the wholesomeness. There is no way for wholesomeness to grow in the mind. Therefore, you must collect wholesome perceptions. You must direct the mind toward wholesome objects. You must collect those very same wholesome signs and features again and again. Then these wholesome signs can be these unwholesome signs can be abandoned by conditioning wholesome signs. Greed can be abandoned by arising non-greed. Hatred can be abandoned with the help of non-hatred. Also delusion can be abandoned by conditioning wisdom, that is non-delusion. So because of that, now in place where you give alms, well direct the mind to that relevant bodily actions and that object, and in those places you must take those signs and features to your mind. Now you go to the Bodhi terrace, go near the Bodhi tree, after that you go near the stoop, you go to great stoop worshipping, great merit ceremonies. Now you must see how much you can arise and remember those relevant perceptions again and again within your mind stream. When arising and labeling on those perceptions, you must identify how much the mind becomes free, how much of wholesomeness as ease is created in the mind, how much the mind becomes pure, how much the mind becomes restrained, how much the mind becomes tamed. Behold, to protect the restraint and purity of the mind in your life, like that you must act to identify the objects and let those signs and features grow again and again within the mind. Devotees, so look, because we do not know this Dhamma, within the knowing of this Dhamma, because of the not knowing of the Dhamma, then how many wrongs and shortcomings happen by our hand. Then the person who knows the Dhamma, devotees, is one who keeps their mind stream pure in this way. Now then, when seeing a person, we will also be able to read that person's mind. When seeing a person, is that person with a wholesome mind? Is they when with a unwholesome mind? What is that person thinking and contemplating? That can also be seen through the way that person acts. Also, one can identify for oneself how pure one's mind is, how restrained it is. One can identify for oneself whether one's mind is tamed. Devotees, one receives the ability to identify in this way how big a capability, how big a skill have I developed and practiced within this Buddha dispensation by this time. Therefore, devotees, you must well understand the matter of identifying unwholesome signs and identify wholesome signs. You should not collect unwholesome signs. You should not let unwholesome roots grow. You should not let unwholesome bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions grow. You must collect wholesome perceptions. Also, you must develop wholesome roots, non-greed, non-hatred and non-delusion. You must develop wholesome bodily actions, verbal actions and mental actions. We intend to mention in this sermon that you should create this transformation in your life by this time. So be skilled to identify in this way the unwholesome perception that affects the unwholesomeness. That is the condition for the unwholesomeness, and that is the condition for the unwholesome bodily, verbal and mental action. Identifying it, direct the mind and establish mindfulness while labeling on that unwholesome perception, that unwholesome sign. In this way, also identify the wholesome signs that are the root for the wholesomeness, for the wholesome roots and for the wholesome bodily, verbal and mental actions. Identifying them We advise these devotees in this sermon to maintain them by establishing mindfulness while directing the mind to those wholesome signs again and again and again, and practicing and training those very same wholesome perception again and again. So, in the next sermon, we intend to preach about Buddhanusati, recollection of qualities of the Lord Buddha, meditation, about the collection on meditation, relevant to this very same thing. So, relevant to that Buddhanusati and other recollection meditations, relevant to going to practicing those recollection meditations, I give the advice and instruction to act further by directing the mind to them, and by practicing, training and creating in this way the mental background and the mind to identify those objects. And I wish that the strength, the courage, the fortune and the opportunity needed for that may be received by all these devotees through the merit of having heard this Dhamma. I conclude the sermon by wishing that the merit of having heard this Dhamma may also cause all these devotees to realize the sublime Four Noble Truths and be comforted by the great Supreme Nibbana. May it be a fortune. May the Triple Gems be the refuge for all these devotees. This is the end of the sermon given by Bhante Dhammadipa on identifying the wholesome signs and unwholesome signs.